Hello, everyone. How are we doing? It's so good to be here again. Yes, it's our camp week, and this week we're going to be in Port Harcourt. Um, Last week we were in Lagos, but this is the week for Port Harcourt. Wish us all the best and keep praying that every desire of our heart, every goal of the parents concerning the lives of these young ones will come to fusion. I mean, it's going to be established. Okay, so we're going on the field. We're not just talking on Facebook. We're not just maximizing data and access to phones or pressing keypads. No, we're actually taking our foot to these teenagers. We're going down to their level because we want maximum impact in their lives. Yes. And I'm looking forward to meeting my girls at the Girls Hub physically in Port Harcourt and, of course, in Abuja. Thank you so much to all the parents out there that are constantly investing. Your investment is a legacy. Your investment is a transgenerational, seed for impact in the lives of not just your children, but in the next generation. Okay, so if you're joining us from YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, I want to celebrate you for always keeping a date with us. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Okay, so today I have another amazing young person in my community. Okay, and we're going to be talking about boredom. Let's go, let's go, let's go. We have Dr. Phil. I actually gave him that title. It's not a doctor, but I just added doctor to his name. Phil, welcome and thank you so much for being here. Just at at the will I say flip of a finger. I know it cost you a lot to be here, but you got here and we're so grateful. Now let me tell you about Dr. Phil, like I like to call him. Dr. Phil, I met Dr. Phil through one of my friends and my longtime friend and co-laborer in the gospel. She referred Dr. Phil to me, and this is how she described Dr. Phil. She said, Auntie Tima, I want to send somebody to you. I said, Ma, I don't need male. Oh. It's female I need. No, Dr. Phil is very resourceful. Oh. He's very, very resourceful. Oh. You will need him. Oh. You will love to have him. Oh. And when Dr. Phil came, truly, he has lived up to that description of who he is. Dr. Phil has worked with us at the academy. Dr. Phil, he's just a very hands-on person. He was one of the moderators at the Global Teens Conference. Dr. Phil is highly skillful. Dr. Phil, you're going to be talking about how not planning boredom time. I recently decided that I was going to include boredom as an activity for my own children. Yes, like the way you say reading time, cooking time, chore time, boredom time, alone time is part of the plan, especially this long holiday. And when we say boredom time or alone time, we don't just want your child to just be left alone like by chance. We want a particular time to be left for a child to be left alone. Now, let me share with you something that happened, Dr. Phil. A parent sent me a message yesterday and she sent her daughter's YouTube channel. And she said, at 13, I see the product of boredom. My daughter started to do, a channel that teaches people some kind of craft, some kind of wonderful skill. She's a member of the Girls Hub. So in the Girls Hub, they know what it means to be bored. Yes, it's not every time, it's not fun time. Girls like entertainment, right? I don't want to watch movies, don't want to watch series, don't want to dance. And I'm like, no, no, no. Sometimes you need to come into yourself. Sometimes you need to come to yourself, meet with yourself, calm down with yourself. And I'm happy that I'm beginning to see the outcome of this alone time. So please share with us, Dr. Phil. I'm going to step out, so you can express yourself very well to the parents. Tell them how you're able to learn Dr. Phil is so skillful. He knows how to do so many things. Were these things birthed out of not really having something to, and then you just kept trying your hands on some of these things? I know that you do a lot of self-learning yourself. I know how many courses you have learned, just, you know, trying to maximize your alone time and all that. Dr. Phil's family does not live in Abuja, but he lives here. So he's leading himself and guiding himself, and he must be okay. There's no mommy or daddy to come and start saying, where are you going? What are you doing? Why are you coming? And no, he has had to manage himself, his time. Of course, he's no longer a teenager, but he's just coming from teenage. So this is not something that it's strange to him. It's something that he has practiced over the years and has now mastered. So thank you so much, Phil, for doing this with me today.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm a parent at this point, so I'm stepping out and I'm taking my notes myself. I'll give you a few minutes and then I'll come back. Thank you.
All right. Okay, ma'am. So, this is me saying good afternoon, good day to every parent out there, and I just want to say thank you for also joining us, and thank you at Tima for having me on this platform today. I really appreciate. It is a huge privilege, and I do not take it for granted at all. Now, very quick, let's dive into boredom. Boredom, as much as we would actually see that it has bad sides, yeah, because people usually say, I'm so bored. I don't have things to do. I don't know what exactly to do. Like we wouldn't say, uh, an idle man idle mind is the devil's workshop. So, as much as the idle mind is the devil's workshop, it is still also that same platform where you can use that to get a whole lot. Like, so me way back, I was a student in school, sex school, and I was living life. I said, okay, so is there really something I can do, or is there something more to me than what I have right now? So I said, okay. Uh, I sat down one day all to myself, lonely, and then I was like, okay, is there something I know that I have in me that I can do to really get better, or to just carve out a niche for myself? So I looked first at the word music. So I saw people doing music here and there. I was like, okay, this is nice. I think I could actually try something. So I jumped in on it. Okay, I have like friends and they all play piano, and they are so good in it. But then I looked at, I said, okay, yeah, I think I could actually try this, and I didn't learn from anybody. I learned on my own. I started learning, I started playing, and to cut the long story short, I play far better than all three of them. Like, I'm good. So, but then how on earth did I get there? I sat down and I said, okay, there's really more to my life than what I have right now. So if I really want to make the most of the time I have on earth, then I have to do something away from the normal, or away from what people would normally do. So I pushed out to learn music, and then over time I will be able to say that that same music has paid my bills for a very long time. I used the same music in school. I use that to pay my bills, get books, feeding, transport. Like, I did that. Like, even all the phones I've used so far in my life, I bought them and have music. So I picked that, and then how did I get there? I sat down and then I was thinking. So instead of you just being bored and you don't have anything to do, there's so many things that you can get from being bored. And one thing that actually helped me was the fact that I had good friends around, so who were doing great things. So I was like, okay, these guys are doing things, then I think I should also look out for something that will really help me be something out there, because they were just living a very normal life, like most people would do. Get into school, get out, get a job, get married, give birth. That's all. And you go. I was like, no, I need something that, years later, after I'm gone, people can still look back to those things I did, and then still be able to learn from them. So yeah, it was a very good one. I learned music, and I'm still doing music till date. So I got that from boredom. Now I did music so much and it was good, it was nice, it was fun. But then I sat and I asked myself, is this all I want to do? Music? Or is there really something else I can do? So I set out once again. I sat down somewhere. I went I went out, to a park and then sat down. Now at that park, I was looking around. I saw green grass, trees, flowers. I saw things and I was like, okay, nature looks good. I was seeing a lot of colors. Okay, is there a way I can actually relate this thoughts that I have about seeing nice colors? That's how I got into graphics. I started doing graphics bit by bit, learning little things. I had fears, trust me. I had fears. I was like, because I'm seeing good stuff that a whole lot of people do. So I saw them, and then the very first thing I did before going into graphics was I sat down and then I went online to see what graphics are about, see good graphics. Because, like we say, before you can say something is bad, you must have a knowledge of what is good. So I went out to look for good designs. Like when you say good designs, I kept seeing it. So because if you do designs like I tell people, and you cannot tell if it is good or bad, you're on it, like you're on a very wrong route. So I did the very first thing was to learn, check, okay, see what these things are all about, so that once I see a design, I can tell if it is good or bad. So after doing that, I went into trying out little things. Let me say I can do logos. So bits by bits, I was actually trying, and then like I said, I had friends who were like, "Okay, nice one. I see what you're actually doing. Go on." So those little push at some point helped me, and then after I did to a very large extent, I got tired because it was like I was actually not growing. I was still doing the very same thing, basic things. I said, God, this is not where I should be. This is not who I want to be. If I really had the mind to be the person I want to be, then I should go past this stage. So what did I do again? I sat down. I thought and thought and thought. I felt okay. Uh, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. So I looked at it, and then um, the very first thing I did in my mind was take my mind from I cannot do these things to how can I do them? How best can I do them? So I sat down. I was like, okay, how will I be able to do this? How will I be able to do that? Most things I've actually done so far in my life, I did them on my own. And trust me, it was super amazing when I met Auntie Etima doing amazing stuff. I was like, okay, how do you do these things? And how on earth do you manage so much at the very same time? Trust me, I have learned a lot from her within this very short time, and I am certain that my kids will learn also from her. So I looked at it and I was like, okay, how will I be able to do these things better? So I sat down and then checked and then asked people questions. How were you able to do this? I did this, I did that. So I sat down again and then had to try out these things. Now, from last year, because this is something I do every year. Every year, I sit down and reflect on the things I have done within the year, and then ask myself, did I grow? Did I get better at the things I do? And then if it's something, this is something I know every year I get better. Every year I get better. So things I could do now, I could not do them last year. Couldn't. I was just there. There were fears for me. I felt no, this wouldn't work. But at every time I sat down to think, at every time I took myself out of the noise from people, and then sat down and then thought of how I could get past that phase, it always worked for me. Like it changed. Um it actually changed how I saw things, or how I would take things, or how I would see things when they actually come to me. So it has helped me. Boredom that you see people do and then maybe get into bad stuff, peer pressure, a whole lot of bad stuff, like you see. So but I usually tell people, what has disadvantage, also has an advantage if you can look closely to it. Being not actually knowing so much can be good and can be bad. How? It can be bad in the sense that people can take advantage of you. But it can be good in the sense that if you have less knowledge about certain things, or if you don't know too much, it is easier for me to be able to teach you and you can learn. But when you know too much, like you know way too much, you will start dragging, arguing. And in the sense, I should people it's not just knowing things, it is knowing how to use the things you know that helps. So you can still be bored and be productive. It's not just being bored and then you waste time on maybe Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and the likes. Just like Auntie Etima said when she actually started, there is this young lady in the girls who is doing amazing things on her YouTube page. How? Because she actually learned how to make use of boredom. So you could actually learn to make use of that. It has helped me a great deal. I'm learning daily. I have different courses I'm actually taking right now. I did one last week for like 5 hours, international basically. So like I'm actually running to really be that person I want, and I keep looking at Auntie Etima every time. I think I'm like, how did she get here? How did she get? So the very first thing I do is I sit down and then I ask, what is she doing? How is she doing what she is doing? What can I do to help me get there? And these things do not always come from maybe when I'm there with people laughing. Just it is most times open to me when I sit down and I'm in my alone time thinking, okay, this is not all there is to me, but then there is so much I could do. Now it is much more easier for me because I'm seeing somebody who is going down that route and who has gone past that path. So I just see and then learn. I study. So it has helped me a great deal. And I am so certain if you are out there listening to me, boredom can be good. If you can make good use of it, it can be good. Trust me. It can change your life completely if you make good use of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I was just thinking about my life. I was like, I remember those days. I have one confession to make. I remember those days of, childbearing and all that. And I've always been an entrepreneur kind of person, always wanted to do business since from way back, since from school and all. But I had my children, three of them in 5 years. So I was always either nursing or pregnant, or I just wanted to
Mm.
just do it and just move. So I think after my second child, my husband just said, "Oh, okay," to keep my wife busy. Now he got in DSTV. That was when DSTV just first started becoming really popular with all
Wow.
their different payment stuff. So I would watch Nigerian movie, Nollywood somewhere in my hands. Nollywood. If they used to give award for watching, yours truly would have collected award.
Wow.
So one of those days, this was now like a year after I was now like nursing my last child. And I remember that day, I think they took light. So I just had her on my chest and I just lay down. Of course, there was no light, so I was alone. I was forced to be bored.
Wow.
I was forced to be bored. I was forced to be alone. And I started to think to myself that wait, oh, how old are these people acting? Then the people that were trending in my days, in those days, were Jim Ike, Rita Dominic, Omotola Jalade, Ramsey Noah.
Medu. Yes.
Before then, like 3 years before then, I had traveled to do, for a business trip, and I had met with Dominic at the airport.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, so this is her. All right. I mean, I had met Jim. I had met a few of them here and there. I had met in Edo, just here and there. And they looked to me like normal people. Yes, they were celebrities, but I looked at them and I saw people that were pursuing their careers.
Wow.
And I said to myself that day as I lay down, without light, without any access to movies. And I said, rather than sit and watch people live their dreams, I rather sleep.
Mm.
And, and maybe in that sleep, I'll see a vision of my own life. That was when my journey to purpose began. I heard you talking about, how you have watched me. That's how it started, though. It came from a place of anger that was bettered at a time of boredom. So
Mm.
I had time to, think. I just thought about it now. That was actually what triggered this drive. Now it looks like I'm running so fast. You don't dare try to catch up because you can't stop me. You cannot drag me. I am moving with such force because I know what the downsides of not doing anything with time can be. I've been there.
True. Mm.
Of course, it was a phase in my life, but I'm glad that at that phase, I was able to catch the vision and the sense that what you do
Mm.
with your time matters. I just told myself, I said, wait, how old are these people? How old are they exactly? They are like my mates, some of them I senior them. And these people, I sit down spending my 8, 10 hours watching them,
Watching.
and you say I'm trying to relax, I'm keeping myself busy and company. Excuses. And I vowed that day, I said, another that was when I started learning how to, think, dream, or just,
Mm.
stay on my own. Look, dreaming is an activity. Oh.
True.
Dreaming is
True.
I'm not talking about daydreaming. I'm talking about visioning, just thinking about my future, thinking about what I want to do, thinking about what makes me happy, what will make me feel fulfilled. It's all part of what you can do during boredom. Reflection time is best when you are bored. That's what Dr. Phil is
Yes,
saying.
ma'am.
Those
Yes, ma'am.
questions is asking himself, so is this what I want? Constantly questioning yourself during your boring times is going to be a game changer. A lot of parents always want to fill up activities for their children this holiday now. From morning to night, they'll go for maths and English.
Lessons.
They'll come and go for this one. What lessons morning, afternoon, night? Can your children have a thinking time? Can you
Mm.
incorporate it and say this time 45 minutes? Excuse me, it's your thinking time. Tell them to think and come back and share their thoughts.
Mm.
I was questioning some of the children at the last boot camp in Lagos, the one of yeah, the one of our first boot camp, and I was asking them that are there things you've observed around you that you think they can be a better version of? I was shocked, Dr. Phil.
Wow.
Nothing really. They're not thinking.
Wow.
They're not thinking. Instead, some of them were trying to sneak in phones. I hear that some people don't want to come to the Abuja camp because there'll be no devices. Sorry. Dear parents, you see, when your children are giving you all sort of excuses not to come to camp, they are giving you all sort of excuses not to join the girls' hub, and you are accepting it. You don't know that what they are asking for is more time on their devices,
True.
more time
True.
to feed their addictions. But they will prove to you, oh, it's boring. Oh, I don't want to meet new people. Oh, the stress. Oh, the pressure. They are giving you all sort of excuses that look sensible. Trust me. Coming from an experienced coach, they are finding a way out. They are trying to find a way out. Some people cannot stay. And I say it to teenagers, your devices are the source of your addictions.
True,
Those
ma'am.
devices, they are the
True.
source of devices. They are the devices are the source of devices. That's it.
Mm.
Every
Devices and
vice you see a
devices.
teenager
Mm.
exhibiting, it came from the devices. Check it.
Mm.
Everything. How did they get about knowing about same gender relationship? Is it not through vice? Is it not through screen?
True.
Not through devices. How did they learn about about Yahoo, all this scam? It's through the it's through the devices. It's a solid tool of exchange of values. And then we say, oh, I don't want them to be bored. So I just gave them. As you're giving them, they are seeing, they are clicking. If I tell you how young people got hooked with porn, when you see phone, you will look at the phone as the devil. You will say, bad devil, leave me alone. You are giving your child this 14th birthday now. Everybody has, you are giving devices. Get ready for devices. And so the
True.
teenagers have been saying, no, we're not going to stay without phone for 5 days. They cannot. Really? How will your child think? How will your child create? So we are birthing and we are seeing and we are releasing consumers, collectors, not contributors or creators.
Mm.
We cannot see. We can't see creators again because every time, Coach Wendy calls it a screen high. It's like cocaine. When every time they're looking for how to touch, how to and we are saying this already. I don't want them to be bored. So you put them from one screen to another,
Yeah.
from one screen to another, from one activity to another. No time to sit and think. No time to sit and say, "This is my life." What I did, oh God, and I didn't know that this topic was going to be so. It was going to come to me personally so much because truly, I had a lot of boring times. I had a lot of lonely times. The lone advantage. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
I had a lot of times when I sat down and I said, where are my peers? They're doing stuff. What am I doing? I wasn't asking to compare myself or to compete with them. No, I
Mm.
wasn't doing that. I was not, saying my mate to compete or compare. I was just saying it to push myself to say, if my mate can, then I can too. Everybody is in I don't think I have up to two of my classmates or my peers that do what I do. Everybody's in the different industries, fashion, academics, medicine, education. We're all in different sectors. But the fact that they are pushing also encouraged me to push. All this jumping from one place to another. I came to a time when I said, I'm not going again.
Wow.
I attended conferences though, useful and unuseful, all I attended. Anywhere they announce it, bam, I'm there without thinking. Because I didn't want to stay alone with myself. Didn't want to stay alone with myself. I didn't want to be reminded of the things I had not yet achieved. And maybe we're even talking to the parents. You think this is for your child. But maybe it even starts from us. Starts
Mm.
from us. What do you do with your alone time? What do you do with your boring time? I got up this morning and it seemed like, oh, okay, before the day starts, what next? Before the activity starts, something in my mind was saying, okay, call the coordinators and find out, check this. That part of me wanted to just start going, and I just calmed myself down. And I said, the day is coming. Sit with yourself for a few minutes. Dr. Phil, it will shock you. It will shock you what I took down. I took down a lot of new knowledge, new insight, concept. I got clarity on a guideline I've been looking for just
Wow.
this morning.
Wow.
Just this to tell you that it doesn't just end with the children. It doesn't just end with the children. It also has a lot to do with us. Let's be comfortable. Let's be
Mm.
satisfied with boring times. It's something I've been teaching my children so much. My first daughter was with me at the Lagos camp.
Wow.
And because we have infused it into our schedule, I had to hold her accountable. I was like, have you been observing your? She said, yes. Have you? I checked her like twice. Don't come and say because we're on camp. So now, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
That because
just
we're on
live
camp,
life.
because yeah, activity, exactly. You are now everywhere, everyone. You're forgetting that there is a reason for your long time.
Mm.
And by the time we got to day 4 of the Lagos camp, I noticed that me too. I was now missing out, and I called
Missing
myself
out.
back to
Mm. Mm.
order. See, your lone time, your boring time is the most resourceful time of the day. Calm down, calm yourself down, calm me down, calm down, and just tell yourself that nothing, no, there's nothing happening now.
Mm.
Nothing, there's no activity for now. It's just to be with myself. So that these children will stop all this is boring. This is why read Bible is boring. Come to
Boring.
camp
Yeah.
is boring. Go
Boring.
to class is boring. Go and work internship is boring. Because they just want activity, color, screen, energy. What is the problem? How are we going to get them to think? How are they going to be able to, assess themselves, their progress? How are they going to do all that if they are not able to think?
Mm.
There's somebody I follow online very much, and she said that her life was a mess. Okay,
Wow.
minister's daughter, very big minister's daughter, but A lot of things happened to her. And when she needed some time off, her dad said to her, her dad and her boss, her dad was her boss. Her dad said, take some time off. She said, no, I don't want to take
Hmm.
time off. I want to keep coming to the office. The father said, no, you're not in a good place.
Yeah.
Take time off. So she was forced to take time off. She said she didn't want to because she didn't want to be alone with herself. The time
Hmm.
off was going to remind her about her weaknesses, her struggles, and she didn't want it. But she was forced to. And she said the moment she started to have that time alone, God told her, God started speaking to her, started telling her to start cleaning up her life by herself. God said, start
Hmm.
with your space. Yes, clean up your house first, your room. Start from there. Many times the teenagers, especially the girls, they don't like cleaning up because when you clean up, you're alone. Yes,
True.
it happens
True.
to me. When you're decluttering, you're alone. You're not decluttering with everybody. You have to shut the door and do it yourself. And once she started from there, God started using her. She's one of the, if you call 20 for me, I mean 20 most influential speakers, especially female, she will make the 20. But where did it start from? A loan advantage. I first heard it from her. So until you get your children to get used to staying alone sometimes, not always, but every day, intentionally, not unplanned, not come on, go to your room and go and stay there alone. No, not
Hmm.
that. You should have
Hmm.
taught them the process. You should have taught them how to think, how to process information. I've taught the girls in the girls' hub the difference between dreaming and daydreaming. The dream is when your mind is just wandering. You're just leaving your mind to just wonder about fantasy. No. Dreaming, visioning is a structured, planned way of
It's
channeling your
focused.
thoughts towards what is important, towards what you want to achieve. It's not sitting down dreaming of you and your husband and your 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls on the beach. Just chilling and flexing. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about a structured way of thinking, creative way, critical
Hmm.
way of thinking, analyzing. It is thought. It is not just done. Have to intentionally teach our children. So, Phil, what will your last words be? It has been such a beautiful conversation, by the way.
Wow. I've learned a whole lot. I've learned a lot. And then this is something I would tell both parents and teens out there. Life is only as productive as you think, not as you see. Because most times these things we see do not match up what we think. But first, you must be able to have something here. You must be able to have that picture up here before you can work it out till what you see becomes what you think. Because we have two realities, what we think and what we see. So until we are able to merge both to become one. See, what we think becomes what we see. Then we still
Mm-hmm.
have to actually keep up with it. So, just like I said, the first thing you have
Moving.
to do is to create that picture here. Just like I said, if you can win any battle in your mind, you can win it out there. So, the first thing is sit down, create that mental picture of what you want for yourself. Then start working out what you see till it mirrors what you have in here. Until then, you do not stop. So these are my words to you out there. Parents, it is not yet over. You still can make amazing changes if you can sit down with yourself and think of things that you can do better than what you are doing right now and work towards it. So that is it for me. Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. Thank you everybody for listening, for catching a replay. It's been really wonderful this past 30 minutes, and I hope that you have learned something. I hope you still have some time. I mean, I know some children will start going back to school by the end of the month, some first week. You still have about 2 weeks to 3 weeks, depending on where you live. Maybe those abroad have just like less than 2 weeks. But yeah, it's a way of life. Okay, this is not just for the holiday. It's a way of life to help these children understand that boredom is not a license to bondage, which is what our topic is.
True.
We're not saying that, oh, you should allow them to just stay bored. If you leave them that way, then it can become bondage because they're going to use the opportunity to get hooked on stuff that they cannot pull out from. We appreciate you so much. Where this week, like I said, is the Port Harcourt camp. And no, you can no longer join us. However, you can join us at the Abuja boot camp holding from the 27th to the 31st. That will be next week. And online, most importantly, online. If you cannot make it physically to Abuja, please join us online. Equally impactful. Honestly, the online team have their own curriculum and the activities, and last year was really, really powerful. So join us online, and together we are going to impact these children to the best of our capacity and our ability. Remember, the 91 books are out. Dispatch has already begun. Make sure you get yours. If you haven't already, please do get. They are available, okay? And ensure that these children read these books. Not all at once, because the girls want to read all the 9 books. I don't understand. These teenagers want to read 9 books at once. Yes, I know my books are that interesting. But
Mm-hmm,
please,
mm-hmm.
2 or 3 this holiday and then the rest at the next holiday. Thank you so much, Dr. Phil, for doing this with me, especially at
Thank
short
you, mom.
notice. I don't take it for
Thank you.
granted. God bless you and more grace in all your endeavors, the
Amen.
music aspect, the
Amen.
tech aspect,
Amen.
the everything aspect. Maybe one day you start doing
Amen.
sports or something.
Amen.
But please don't
Amen.
stop, explore. You have the capacity, go ahead and push yourself to become so much more and all that God has made you to be. I celebrate you, sir. God bless you. And thank you,
Thank you
dear
so much,
parents, for
mom.
joining us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. God bless you. And don't forget to share, to like, to comment, to drag people in. Together, we're raising a more responsible, impactful, and resourceful generation.